Hi, I'm Ashley.
And I'm Jesse.
And this is the Love Story Podcast. Welcome to Love Story Podcast today.
Thank you. I'm your co-host, Jesse.
I'm the host, Ashley.
What are we talking about today?
Which one do you want to talk about? We finished one this morning, or we watched one last night. Which one do you want to talk about?
Let's talk about Pretty Woman.
Okay. Yes. I know you had your heart set on Pretty Woman for a very long time.
I like Pretty Woman.
Yes.
It's a good movie.
Yes. Okay, so where do you want to begin? Do you want to give the synopsis?
Let's start at the beginning.
Oh, okay. That's a good place.
The hooker with a heart of gold.
As they say. Was that the tagline on the cassette tape case?
I don't know.
I wonder what is the slogan.
When did you say it came out? 1990?
1990.
1990. So I was 2 years old.
Same.
Yeah. So what did you think about when you saw it when you were 2?
I missed it in the theaters, but I did. Okay. Yeah, I caught it later when it came out on VHS.
Yeah, I was at the theaters, but they put my car seat backwards.
Oh, yeah.
So I couldn't see.
But you could hear everything that was going on.
Yes.
Luckily, you missed a lot of the nonverbals,
yes,
you know?
Yes, yes, very true.
How old were you when you first watched it?
Oh, I have no idea. Probably...
Too young is the answer, but the actual answer
I was probably in my 20s.
What?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was too young when I watched it for the first time. But I was so young that I missed all of the sex stuff.
Sex stuff. There's a lot of XEX stuff in there.
But it's a lot of implied stuff. There's not. It's like actually first of all for a 1990 movie, it was done very tastefully, and yeah, there was a lot of. I mean, I wonder if that was because you could go one of two ways, and if they're trying to portray Julia Roberts' character Viv as like, you know, she's just kind of in the life, but the life isn't in her, you know.
Yeah, that's the sort of silly part about it is like I said, hooker with a heart of gold.
Right.
I mean, not that I'm not real familiar with a lot of them. You know, I haven't met a lot of
those people,
prostitutes.
Sure, they're called sex workers in the 21st century.
Sorry, I haven't met a lot of sex workers, but it's kind of implied that she doesn't have a lot of experience in it. And
sure.
Because what's her friend's name?
Kit.
Kit says she's new.
Yeah.
Someone says she's new, and then Kit says, well, I'm old.
Yeah.
Right.
Kit's a little rough around the edges.
Yes.
She's had to adapt to the life.
Yes.
I think I was under 10 or so when I watched it because I remember the VHS that my mother had on the VHS. I probably watched it one day when I was homesick with mono or something.
Yeah.
So it was that or, Price is Right, and there's only so much
Days
Price
of Our
Right.
Lives was always a
I
classic.
was not allowed to watch soap operas
really?
because if there's anything that my mother stood firm on, it was soap operas will ruin your love life.
Good for her.
Yeah, if there's anything that she could stand firm on, terrible human, bad mother and influence. Meth was prevalent in our childhood. However, we never watched a single soap opera.
But a solid... Yeah,
firm stance on love. Ethic. She just didn't want us to have unrealistic expectations for romance. Yeah. So, I mean, everybody remembers the story of Pretty Woman, but when you go back and watch it, I really liked the way that it was done. And she comes in the beginning, she's walking around their shared apartment, Viv and Kit's apartment, and she's like looking for the money and because the landlord is starting to shake everybody down. Yeah. And so she doesn't have it, so she sneaks out and goes to find Kit at the Blue Banana.
Yes.
Which is is that a nightclub, do you think, or is it a...
I think it's a nightclub.
Okay, where topless ladies are dancing. That's the thing, is there's a lot of implications in the movie, but they don't really, nail anything down. Viv goes and tracks Kit down to the Blue Banana, and they have a little bit of a...
argument.
Tense conversation. Where's the money? And she's like, but I had to get some drugs from Carlos, and Carlos is like, yep, and all you owe me now is $200, and she's like, Kit, what the hell? And she's like, sorry, I needed a good time or whatever.
I needed to party. She hosted a party.
Oh, that's right.
And then so Carlos says to Viv, you could work it off.
Yeah.
You
could work off her debt. And so then she's like, nope, I gotta hit the streets. And so then she goes out and...
Go to the office.
Yes. And her and Kit, they go out and they hit the street. And that's when old Dick Gere shows up.
Old Dickie Gere.
Yep. Yep, Ricky G. He pulls up in a fancy car.
What's his name in it? Edward?
Edward. Yes.
Edward pulls up in the fancy Lotus.
That was Jason Alexander. Jason Alexander's character is his attorney. in this.
Edward's attorney.
Yes, Stuckey is his name, Mr. Stuckey. They were having a party, I think. So we're having two entirely different parties at the start of the scene.
It was supposed to be celebrating Edward, the party that he was at, from what I understood, and then Edward just kind of blows it off and needs to go for a drive. I think that's like an important part of the story is just his. There's a lot of what the word would be, but like contemplation that Edward is doing, or he just wants to kind of be left alone, but I think he's lonely. I think is what's going on. Yeah. He seeks companionship, but he's not finding it in his current group.
He wants the type of companionship that is exactly what he got with Viv, where it's like he wants someone on his terms. And it was the whole movie. It's his terms entirely. Sure. Because at the beginning, you see him having a conversation with his now ex-girlfriend who's leaving. There's a part right when he kind of meets Viv where she says, so what, do you got a wife or a girlfriend? And he said, I have both. He's got an ex-wife that left him and an ex-girlfriend. And
who's currently moving out.
Yes, currently moving out. And so he kind of makes the comment, she had made the comment, the ex-girlfriend had made the comment as she was moving out, that she was like, I have more of a relationship with your receptionist than I do with you. So it's very much, he's comfortable knowing that there's someone back home waiting for him. He seems to be, and this is my affirmation of him. Yeah. He seems to be comfortable knowing that there's a woman in New York waiting for him. He seems to be comfortable with the relationship that he wants is for Viv to be at his beck and call waiting for him. Actually, it literally was said beck and call girl. Yeah. He wants a beck and call girl. And he wants someone to just be there waiting for him to throw money at, basically.
See, but I think it's a little deeper than that. The way it plays out, that's literally what happens. But like throughout the whole first half of the movie, he just keeps withdrawing. He leaves his own party. He leaves Viv in bed and goes to work. Yeah. And then later on, he changes his whole perspective on how he deals with these companies that he buys and sells. I think throughout the movie, what I saw was contemplation. And he's like, he's not, I think he wants change, but he doesn't know how to achieve it.
Sure.
It starts off right away where he's like, he ditches the party.
Right.
And then I think he's looking for something. Mm-hmm. But he doesn't know what it even is.
Well, because he had made the comment about his attorney, Richard Gere's character, Edward. So Edward finds the companies. He's he seeks out the investors, all of that kind of stuff. Yeah. And then Stuckey is the guy who comes along and he likes the hammer. Yes, and he likes to be the one in the room that's like, and now we're going to slit your throat, basically. Yeah. So then by the end, when, like you're talking, the contemplation has happened, and Edward decides that he's like, you know what, I would like, because Viv had said something to him where she said, so you don't build anything. It was build and create, basically. You just buy and sell. Yeah. And he was like, so that kind of stuck with him a little bit. And so as he develops his relationship with this most recent company that they're going to buy. And side note, I was a lot more interested in the dynamic of like the business story with what is it that he even does, and like paying attention to the rooms that he's in when he's talking to these people and whatever, more so than the relationship with Viv. I think when I was a kid, the business stuff was so like well above my brain capacity. Yeah. But you can understand the love and the relationship that's building between the two. And now it's like, okay, that's easy to follow, but like what's going on with the business? Like how does that play into the movie? So it's fun to kind of go back and watch it now with an adult brain or with a 38-year-old brain.
Which one of us has an adult brain?
It's the 38-year-old brain.
Good
you
enough.
Can say that.
Good enough. Worn out brain.
Soon to be 38-year-old brain.
Yes. Yes. Don't.
Yeah, I know. I spent my entire 35th year of life thinking I was 36. Wow. So then by the time I got to my birthday and it was like, I'm 36, it was not like, it wasn't a happy feeling. It was like, now I have to live 36 twice. Like I've missed out on 35.
That's wild stuff. Wild stuff coming out of old Ash.
These tired old brains, they trick you. You got to watch out for your brain. It's always trying to trick you.
Time is a social construct, though.
Yeah.
And you're only as young as you feel.
That's true.
And I feel like I totally still feel 36.
Do you really?
Yeah. Not a day goes by where I'm like, oh, I'm 37. Nope.
Wow.
I'm 36 through and through.
That's
Anyways.
inaccurate. But live the life of your dreams.
Thank you.
So yes, Richard Gere and his business, and he by the end of it, he's like, I want to make stuff with you or whatever.
Yeah. Should we maybe tell the people a little bit more about the story, or are we just assuming that everybody knows?
No, we can go back
that
and tell more about
everybody's
the story,
seen.
but we had kind of gone off on a tangent where you
Yes.
were talking about how like he's contemplating the whole time.
Yeah.
I now being an adult and looking at it, actually, and also in 2026 day and age, it was a bummer right away from the beginning. Just like it's just all a bunch of rich white people that are being portrayed, and then the only people of color are the drivers. And there's like not a white driver in the place. It's all so that was a little bit of a bummer.
Yeah.
But I mean, so it's one of those things where there was dynamics that didn't age well. But if you look at the story in and of itself, Richard Gere has just left his party. Edward has left his party, and he's driving his attorney's car, and he ends up lost.
Yes.
Which I couldn't remember how he found himself in the company of a sex worker.
And so he says, "Can I get directions?" And she says, "That'll be $10." And then he says,
She says $5, and then he said $5 for
That's
directions,
right.
and she goes, the price
It
just
just
went up to 10.
And then she says $20, and I'll show you in person. And she gets without him agreeing. She gets in the car and says $20, and I'll show you in person. He's trying
because he said he had he's like, do you got change for a 10?
Yeah.
For $20, I'll show you in person.
And then he's asking for directions to his hotel.
Yes, because you kind of got a brief moment of it when his attorney is like, he's got the car and he's like, I got to get to Beverly Hills, or I'm going to get to my hotel in Beverly Hills. And he's like, you have no idea where you're going.
Beverly Hills is downhill.
Yeah, or whatever. Yeah. And then he pulls up outside of
What was that accent?
Jason Alexander.
Can you do it again?
I forget I've moved on now.
You forget where you were going.
Yeah, you don't know where you're going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much exact.
That's Jason Alexander.
Yeah.
Seinfeld takes place in New York.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a little Jason Alexander-y.
Got it.
Yes.
Got it.
Yeah. So then he pulls up on the boulevard where Boulevard of Broken Dreams, where we can find Kit and Viv. Then she hops in the car and he takes
shows him where the hotel is.
Yep.
And that's more, he's doing more contemplation. Maybe you disagree, but I think he's like, I don't think it has anything to do with the money. I don't think it has anything to do
For
with
him,
him wanting it on his terms. I think he just doesn't want to be alone. And she kind of seems, because she's driving the car and she knows about, she's different.
right. I think you're right. I think they do a good job of portraying this like, this is not how I thought my night was going to go. But now here we are. Yeah. And also he's the man in the room and he's got the deep pockets in the room. So he does control the narrative and he controls everything. So it's like, he's not afraid of what's going to happen if I get this woman back to my room, because she hasn't portrayed herself like she's got sticky little fingers. And she also she's the subordinate in this situation. So what is he afraid of? So yeah, he has what's the word I'm looking for? He has the privilege of curiosity with her, and she is bound to the money. And also he knows that he can buy her, essentially. There is a way that he can achieve an interaction with her on his terms. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what happens. And then so they get to the hotel and he invites her up.
Well, she's like, okay, I'm going to go. And because she's kind of doing this like, are we not gonna? And he's like, well, okay. And then she goes and sits. She's like, okay, I'm going to call a cab with this I've got $20. I'm going to call a cab. Mm-hmm. And so then she's sitting there at the bus stop and he said, no cab. And she said, I prefer the bus. Yeah. They kind of are pulled back into a little bit of a cat and mouse again.
You know what I think is so funny about the way we operate this podcast?
What?
It's like we get way ahead of ourselves and then we kind of come back.
But we didn't
and then it's like it's like I'd rather take the bus, like a completely insignificant part of the story, and it's like now we're still at the very 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 beginning. So I think just maybe summarize a little bit.
Sure. So she does not take the bus.
Yes, and she's got black heels, and then she
takes a permanent marker and she colors in the scuffs.
Yes. So now we're even farther back.
Yeah. Let's go back to the very beginning. They go upstairs. They spend their first night together. Is this where she is laying on the floor? They're watching I Love Lucy. He orders room service.
Picnic.
Yes.
She says, I have a floor picnic. I think that's where he's kind of like watching her, just kind of observing her laugh.
Yes.
And I think that's the first night.
I think it is too, because he's...
Yes, it is, because the whole... So she's watching I Love Lucy, and then he's just observing her.
And she had eaten the strawberries and the champagne, and then she went into the bathroom to go floss her teeth, but he was like, I don't allow drugs here, and she's got the floss behind her back, and he's like, basically like, get out of here, I won't have this. And she's like, I'm going to floss my teeth. You can't neglect your gums.
Yeah.
And so then that was where it comes
What kind of floss do you think it was?
I think
Oral
it was...
B?
I don't think it was Oral B. I think it was unwaxed.
Ah, darn it. That's tough.
It'll just
I have some crowding.
Yes,
so
you need to have you need a real strong floss.
Yes, I do. So I'm always on the hunt for good floss.
Yes.
Can't neglect your gums.
Can't neglect your gums. And also, let's not name drop until we're sponsored by
my bad.
Shmee, you know what I mean?
My bad.
So anyhow, they have their first night together.
You're funny.
And now she's flossed, and she's got her floor picnic, and they're watching I Love Lucy, and he's doing work and whatever, and she's just existing in this space. Because is this where he said, yes, he had said how much for the whole night, and she was like $300, and he was like, done, easy. He just wants to be around her, and she's, like you said, she's different than anyone else he's ever been around, and she is pretty wholesome. She flosses her teeth and all of that kind of stuff. So
hasn't done drugs since she was 14.
Right, exactly. She got off the drugs. Yep. And so then she's laying there and she's watching, and then we kind of have their first little intimate. We assume she gave him fellatio. We assume she filleted old Richard Gere. But everything is implied. So, yes, she did say she doesn't kiss on the mouth. And then they wake up the next day. Right. He says neither does he. And she still has her blonde wig on. So then when she's asleep in bed, he sees that she's got this big curly red hair and her wig is off and whatever. And she never puts it back on for the rest of the show. Yeah. She has shed a layer of herself around him. Yes. And so then is this the day that he says, I want you for the week, basically? Because he got up and went to the meeting.
She says, can I take a bath? And then while she's in the bathtub singing, he comes in and just loves... He
gets a phone call.
He likes watching her sing, and then that's when he says, how much for the whole week?
Yeah, I need a companion for the week, because his attorney called him and he was like, I don't like the idea of you going to see Morris on your own. I want you to... We got to make this deal. He's not
Morris is a man that he's trying to buy a company to gut it.
Yes. And he doesn't like... Basically, it's kind of a like... If he gets a whiff of anything he doesn't like and he's gone, whatever. So that was where we've got now. She says, yep, I'll stay for the week. They have the little back and forth of how much is it going to cost. She says $4,000. He says $2,000. She says $3,000. And then as he's about to leave, she says, I would have done it for $2,000, thinking she's got the one up on him. And he comes over and says, I would have paid $4,000. And then he leaves. I like that. I like that scene. That little interaction.
That's a good one.
And then he says, take all this money and go buy clothes. And so now we have the quintessential her on Rodeo Drive, baby. And she can't buy any clothes.
Isn't treated nicely by some ladies at a boutique.
Yes.
So she comes back and this is when the hotel manager and her kind of, he asks her some questions, basically interrogates her about, who are you, why are you here? And then he's like, oh, okay. I think he warms up to her pretty quickly. I
think he warms up to her, but even still he has a hotel to run, and only because Edward Lewis is in the penthouse is she allowed to stay. Yes. Normally we don't allow people who are not a guest who are like officially on the guest list. Normally we don't allow them to be allowed here, whatever, but Edward is a friend. He's a guest and a friend, and so from a guest perspective, not allowed. But a friend will overlook this, whatever. So fine, but we need to make sure. I can assure you, he says something like, "I'm sure that by the time Edward's stay here
you won't
is
come
over,
back after he leaves.
Yeah, you won't be here." And she was, of course, whatever. And then she kind of has a little bit of breakdown because she was like, because he was saying, I need you to dress nicer if you're going to be here. And she was like, I tried, but they weren't nice to me.
And then he helps her out, get her a cocktail dress for the dinner with Morse.
He makes one call to Bridget, and Bridget's
Done.
like, send her on over.
Yep.
And yeah, gets her all hooked up. She says they were under the guise of Edward. She is his niece, Edward's niece, and that is her uncle. She's staying with her uncle. And when she gets to Bridget's boutique, she says, Bridget, I got to tell you, he's not my uncle. And she says,
they never are, dear. Yeah.
Yep. It's very cute interactions. It's interesting when you see like the juxtaposition, favorite positioning word. You see the juxtaposition of...
Can I interject here?
Please.
The problem with that word...
Is position is in the word?
No.
Oh.
Is every time you say, that's my favorite positioning word. So one word becomes 6 words or whatever it is. You know what I mean?
It sounds like you have a problem with who I am as a person.
My juxtaposition is that...
Doesn't work.
I know it doesn't, but I wanted to say it anyways because it's my favorite positioning word.
Is it?
And yes, it is. And I'm just saying, if you want it to keep its value...
Stop cheapening it by identifying what it is.
Yes.
If I want you, Jesse, to hold value, I should avoid calling you Jesse, my future husband.
It's just a patriarchal thing.
Oh, got it. Okay, and you're just trying to squish me down.
Yes, squish you down. And,
all right. Yeah. I'll remember that next time I introduce you as Jesse and you make the comment offline where you say, when are you going to introduce me as, who I am to you in relation to you? I'll remember that it's just too many words to say this is Jesse in the parenthetical, my future husband.
Got
right?
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you want me to say that or?
Well, I don't know what we're talking about anymore.
So juxtaposed to my favorite positioning word and how I identify you in public. This is Jesse, my future husband.
I identify how I want.
How would you like me to identify you?
However you want.
Got it.
Whatever you see fit.
So now, juxtaposed to Viv in the life that she lives, and now we've got Bridget in the life that she lives, and all of the other women that are in the...
high society.
Yes, the women of high... Because when, a little bit later in the story, when Viv goes to the polo game, the women there too... I mean, Edward makes the comment that he says, Viv, this is so-and-so and so-and-so. They are 2 sisters who made a career out of... Or they said they...
Made a career... Or a career out of marrying...
Marrying well.
Yeah.
Basically. So, for Viv, she's made a career out of fast cash, essentially.
That's much later.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, but there's kind of the through line also is it's not just hooker with a heart of gold, and not just, that men rule the world, but it's also like the women in the story are women who have made their life. It's the old, she's going to make it in her daddy's world,
She's trying to make it in her daddy's world.
An American girl. Yes.
She's an American.
X's and O's, got a picture of her mom in heels and pearls. She's trying to make it in her daddy's world. She's an American girl. So that's what we have
if I close
here.
My eyes and you sing,
it's like Faith Hill is singing.
It's like
to you.
she's singing. It's like Faith Hill's foot is on my leg. Whoa.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What's Tim McGraw have to say about that?
Yeah, that's crazy. I have no
Probably.
idea. I don't think it's Faith Hill, but...
It's like Trisha Yearwood is here. What does Garth Brooks have to say about that?
What you got over there, old Trishy? Yeah, it's good stuff.
So we have the through line is that these women are going to make it in their daddy's world, where it's like you've got Julia Roberts, who is Viv, she's doing what she has to do. This couple of sisters who made a career out of marrying well. And without thinking too much about it, I hesitate to say that women are not portrayed super great in the movie, but it's also not that they're portrayed super terribly in the movie either.
I think it serves a purpose in the movie.
Right.
Because it's throughout the whole movie, there's these extreme examples of, you think that people are going to look at someone walking down Rodeo Drive just because they have
A little skimpy bodysuit.
Yeah, so things are kind of exaggerated, I feel like. Things are kind of exaggerated, and the way women are portrayed in the movie, I think it serves a purpose as in it illustrates the separation of class, of societal class. And I think it just helps accentuate the difference between Viv and Edward.
Right. There is no real difference. The story is kind of being portrayed that there's no difference between Viv and the two sisters that married well, except for one does it with nicer clothes on, essentially.
Yeah.
But even like for Bridget to make the comment of, yeah, they never are. It's like we all know, when you're women growing up in America, it's like we all know what we all have to do, especially in the early 90s when the movie came out. It's like we all know what we have to do to get by sometimes. And it's the kind of the, like, from all of the extreme examples of like what Viv is blatantly doing, living the life that she needs to make money. And then on the other side, maybe I'll flirt a little bit longer with this guy because I'm going to get a bigger tip. Or maybe I'm going to placate because it's going to get me through this interaction as safely as possible, or whatever it may be. And all of the little nuances of being essentially a female in the 20th, 21st century. So she gets her clothes from Bridget. And then she goes back to the hotel. She makes a comment to Barney about how nice she was. And he was like, good, lovely. And then she goes up to the room and they get ready for their next day of adventure, or night of adventure.
No, that was the first supper with...
the company, the head of the company, Morse.
Morse, yes.
Yes.
And then that's where you see how lovable her character is, and how infectious her silly little quirks are.
Yes.
Because the Morse and his son are basically like, we don't like Edward at all, but you're a ray of sunshine.
Him.
Yeah. And like, yeah. So, and I think that's a theme throughout the movie too, is like how everyone that she gets around, they just adore her.
Right.
And then Edward is kind of scumbaggy.
But he just continues to be, it was just, we're going to get through this week together and have a nice time together.
Yeah.
And then I believe there was one day, because he had made the comment at dinner that my father passed away, whatever. And he had said, the older Morse had said, I'm sorry, I hadn't heard, whatever. And then Viv was like, I'm sorry about your dad. And then they had a conversation later when they got back to the hotel. He left because he was like, I'm going to go downstairs and play the piano till 3 a.m. She took some time to herself up in the room. He left her in the room by herself after that dinner. And then he went down and played piano all night long until she came down to collect him.
Is that after that dinner? Mm-hmm. It is. Oh.
Yeah. And then that was where they had another implied sexual encounter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one's a little more transparent, I think.
Yeah, on the piano.
Yeah.
And then they go back up to the room again, and then I believe they go off now to polo. They're going to play polo.
I think that they don't play polo.
They don't play polo. They watch the playing of the polo. And this is where we're kind of midpoint through the movie, where this is where his attorney finds out, because he thinks, so they're at this polo match that has been orchestrated. Edward orchestrated this polo match because he wants to, basically he's trying to cut Morris's company out at the knees from continuing on in a different venture where they don't need to be bought out. So he's got that happening, and he's got them there to watch the polo match, and he's got he and Viv and the attorney, and they're all there.
Edward organizes the polo match?
He doesn't organize the polo match, but he orchestrates, he pulls all of these people.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's the presenting sponsor, essentially.
Right. Yes.
And so he invites all of these people to watch this polo match.
But I don't think he invites Morse to the polo match because his son is playing in the match.
That's true. He invited the senator because Morris's company is trying to get in to make some American destroyers.
Yes.
And he was like, "Oh, well, that would get stuck in the arbitrations committee or blah blah blah." And so he was like, "We'll bury it over here, so then it looks like there's an indefinite hold on it, and then we'll." Whatever. Yeah. So he's created kind of this whole little scene, and meanwhile, Viv is just out introducing her. So the two sisters that Edward had said, they make a habit of marrying well, whatever. She was like, everyone there is kind of oh, you're the flavor of the month. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, you're Edward's new plaything, whatever.
Yep.
And one of the sisters had made the comment where she said, oh, what is your intention with him, basically? And she's like, what do you mean? And she was like,
she's
well,
just using him for the sex.
yeah.
That's right.
She says, one of the sisters says, well, he's just. The other one makes a comment where she's like, oh, you're the new one for the hot one for the month or whatever. And she goes, oh, I just use him for the sex. And then she walks off. So it's fun to see her just like does not care, whatever.
She's got pockets of that throughout the movie.
Yes.
Sure.
Just the way that she carries herself and the way when she goes one of two ways. When the fancy ladies on Rodeo Drive make her feel like basically like she's trash, she feels like trash.
Yeah.
When the women and see, now I'm kind of bummed about this because when she's got Edward on her arm, then she's bulletproof, So it's a little bit of like her self-confidence in that scenario because she has the shield of this man, But also, now that I've talked it through and said it out loud and in my head, does it matter where she finds her security and comfort because everybody finds it existentially sometimes,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm glad you had that time to process.
Well,
yeah. I mean, it's interesting because we were talking about it just the other night. Like, there's certain things that I don't think I could get through without you.
right.
I wouldn't have the confidence. I certainly wouldn't have become a metal artist, absolutely not. I would have never done that, But yeah, there is certain things that another person can help you. But I do understand what you're saying, where it is kind of a bummer where she's like, she needs this rich guy to
But it also is
make
if
her
you
feel confident.
Yeah, but if you go into a scenario where you feel, if I find myself navigating your world for the first time and you're not there, I would feel very insecure in that.
Yes, it would be.
And then, but then having you there, it's like, oh, whew, kind of a landing pad.
It's just like these social situations that you and I get into, the galas and stuff.
The gala.
Yeah, I mean, I'd kind of sit in the loser corner.
You're a pretty woman over here. You're just a sex worker with a heart of gold.
And you're Richard Gere.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm paying for it, and I prefer to get service up front.
All right. Rather than in the back. Got it. Got it.
This is a family-friendly podcast.
Sorry. Sorry about that.
So go back to the polo match. So she's making her little comments and whatever, and then this is where she goes off to talk to the younger Morse, the son.
Yeah.
And Mr. Stuckey thinks that she's a corporate corporate
saboteur.
Espionager.
Saboteur, I feel like.
Okay, corporate saboteur.
And then that's when Edward tells him, no, she's a hooker. Then the lawyer tries to proposition her, and she's very upset about it. And they go back to the hotel. Richard Gere and Viv go back to the hotel, and she's like, nobody's ever made me feel as cheap as you made me feel today.
Yeah.
And so she wants to leave, and they get into an argument.
She goes out to the elevator, and she's trying to get the elevator to go down.
Yeah.
And that was when he came out, and this is where I made the comment, there is no way. A woman had to have written his character, because a man who they have a fight within 3 minutes, he comes out, hands in his pockets, he looks at her and he says, I'm sorry for what I said. I know it was wrong. I don't want you to leave.
Yeah.
If that were me and you, I feel like I would have had to. What?
Go ahead, finish your thought here. I would
have had to get in the elevator and clomp my way back to the trashy side of town.
You would. And if the roles were reversed, it would take you 3 hours to apologize.
I am the first to apologize when I feel like I have done wrong.
Are you kidding?
No.
Are you kidding?
I am the first to apologize when
oh
I feel
my
like
gosh, I remember about 3 weeks ago you said to me 95% of the time I am the one that kind of bridges the gap first.
Do you know why? 95% of the time you are the more wrong
one. See? And this is okay, sure.
Yeah.
Sure thing.
Yes, and when I am more wrong, I am quick to bridge the gap. But when I feel like I have been wronged, oh boy, we've got a bridge that's on fire and the river is acid, and you have to trudge.
Yeah, so that's my life, folks.
He came out, he said, I don't want you to leave.
And you were wrong. It was written by 2 men. The screenplay was written by two men, not a
They
woman.
definitely, there is a team of women that is uncredited that this movie is built on the backs of, guaranteed.
Of course. That's naturally what happens.
Yes. So she goes back into the hotel room, and they spend a night together. Is this where now they've spent the night in the tub together?
I think so.
She goes back in, and they're wrapped up and having
then
a conversation.
Is that the night where they kiss?
Yes.
Yeah.
And she tells him, well, she thinks he's asleep.
She says, "I love you."
Yes.
Yeah.
And then, because we're winding down, getting to the end of their time together, and the next day, he's got something else he's got to go do. She gets dressed up in the red dress, and they go to the opera. I don't remember which comes first, if it's the opera or the night in the
I think it's opera then tub.
Opera then tub. I think you're right.
I think so.
Yes, because
I think that's where if you're asking, and I know you're not, but if you were asking, I think that's where he
fell in love with her, was at the
feels
opera.
love with her. Yeah.
I would agree with you. I think he falls into intrigue with her immediately. And then I think when he sees her having that emotional moment at the opera,
Yeah.
I think that was, I would agree. I think that was it too. But he's always perpetually, like he had kind of made the comment where he says, I'm just always unable to fulfill the wants of the relationships that come up around
Impossible relationships or something like that.
Yes. Yeah, he finds himself in impossible relationships because he is unable to give himself a relationship.
That's what he says. He says, this is the best I can do. I think this is when he offers her an apartment and a car and stuff, and she's like, at this point, she's like, I want all of you or nothing.
Right. She's not willing to just be a kept woman in Beverly Hills, just with her fancy car and her fancy things.
Yeah.
If you put yourself in that scenario, could you do that?
Take the money.
You 100%
Take the money.
could?
100%. Yeah.
If
I haven't been a woman for very long, but
in this scenario,
if reality was completely different, take the money.
If you were Viv, and Edward is saying to you, I'm Edward, you're Viv.
Yeah, okay.
I'm setting the scene. We're having breakfast together.
Okay, go.
You're in a robe.
What am I eating?
You're not eating.
Oh, okay.
You picked up a croissant and you're holding it in your hand. You're picking at the flakes and putting it in your mouth.
So I am eating. Okay.
You're nibbling.
Can we get
I'm setting the
right?
scene.
Come on.
And you have your robe on, covering your sultry body. Yes. And you've got your big head of hair. It's just wild and untamed, but also it just is the embodiment of your femininity.
Now we're getting bogged down in the details.
No, I'm trying to paint a picture of your femininity.
Okay, thank you.
So here you are, and I come in. I'm the handsome man with the deep pockets and money to burn.
Oh, wow, your pockets are very deep.
Thank you for noticing. I have a proposition for you.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
I would like to allow you to stay here.
Deeper.
I want you to be here in my Beverly Hills penthouse suite with all of my money access and car access and a place to live. What do you say?
Okay.
Really?
Yes.
That's it? That's all it would take?
How much money do I get?
All of my money.
Okay.
Wow.
Thanks.
Okay. How was your croissant?
It was buttery and flaky. Thank you.
Okay.
Can we roll reverse?
Sure.
You're not eating. You already ate your croissant. You're full. You're like, oof. Jeepers.
Okay.
Hey, babe.
Hold on. I'm bloated. I'm bread bloated right now. What do you have? Do you have something to say? Yeah.
Do you want to stay here with all my money and a condo and a car?
Where will you be?
Wherever I want.
And what am I supposed to do here without you?
Spend my money. And drive my car.
That's it?
Yeah. But I'll see you sometimes.
No, I can't live my life like that.
Wow, that's Oscar worthy.
Thank you. I'm a better woman than you.
You are. You have always been a better woman than me.
You know what?
And if anybody says different,
it means a lot.
If there's anything that anyone takes from this podcast, it's that Ashley is a much better woman than I am.
Well, that means a lot. It's okay. It's okay. Wipe your tears. Stick with me, kid, and I'll teach you.
Show me the ropes.
I'll show you all of my feminine ways. But here's why I would not be able to stay locked up in Edward's penthouse. Because love, man. Once you allow that power dynamic into the relationship, the respect and the love and the money, it all becomes intertwined. And
I'm sorry to interrupt, but can I offer you some further insight?
Sure, please. Yeah.
So, first of all, he doesn't say you have to stay here forever.
Right.
You're trapped.
Right.
So maybe try it out. Work
No.
on him a little bit.
No.
You know?
No,
I mean,
because my job is to not convince you to want to be with me.
right, but I'm looking at it from the perspective of going from Skid Row to Penthouse.
Nope. If there's anything that I'm going to do, I'm going to make it in my daddy's world by myself. I'm not going to be tucked up in this tower and just like
Right.
waiting for you to come and then to be like, just remember, I'm here, you know?
Yeah.
My perspective on it is, and maybe it's because I'm spiteful and stubborn.
No.
Hell no. I'm not going to be just sitting up here, especially too, in a way of like, it's this like, you've given me this platform, deserved or undeserved. You've given me access into this room, this very wealthy room, and a room that I will not be welcome in without you.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I'm essentially trapped in a fancier cage, and there's nowhere for me to go build my own life within it. And also, everything that I have, you can take it away from me. So no, I would rather build for myself on
You'd rather
Skid Row
be a Skid Row prostitute than
a penthouse kept woman. Yes.
a fancy.
Yes. Then
Here's your one chance,
fancy, don't let me down.
What did she say? God
Forgive
darn
me
it.
for what I do.
No, not that. Come on, come on. There's a part she hasn't had to worry about nothing for 15 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you're nice to
can
the
still
gentleman
hear the
fancy,
poem.
they'll be
God darn
nice
it.
to you. I
wish-
said, here's your one chance fancy, don't let me down.
Now
Here's your one chance fancy, don't let me down.
forgive me for what I do.
And it's up to you. Don't let me down. Now your mama's gonna turn you uptown.
No. An occasional aristocrat. I love that.
Yes,
I
southern,
love that.
yes.
See, and that's what's weird is like I know every word of that song, but right now I can't.
You can't think of
I
it.
can't
That's
put-
how I felt
it's not-
about-
It's not flowing.
Yeah, because
I pulled up the lyrics. Is it? I couldn't see spending the rest of my life with my head hung
Went
down, in
shame.
Might have
yes.
been born like praise.
Just plain
Plain
white trash.
but fancy was my name.
On this world, there's a lot of self-righteous hypocrites
You call me
who
bad.
hypocritize.
Yes.
Mama, no matter how little we had.
But though I ain't had no worry about nothing
From now on 15 years.
Years.
well, I can
Still hear the poetry in my
her
poor
voice.
mama's
Voice.
voice ringing in my ear.
ears.
She said,
Here's your one chance fancy, don't let.
Weren't long after a benevolent man took me off the streets. 1 week later, I was pouring his tea in a 5-room hotel.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I mean, I'd pull a fancy. I'd pull a
You,
fancy.
I've always known
You
that
know?
about you. You
I
pull a
mean,
fancy.
That's
Yeah, I
wouldn't.
I wouldn't.
that's
I wouldn't.
good for you, man.
No, it's not so good for me. It's
I'll
just,
drink my tea to that. You know?
yeah. Okay. Yeah. I would. Just,
I know what you mean. I understand
but
what you mean.
but also because again I'm spiteful and stubborn, so it's like I never understood when my mother would always say about me, you'd cut off your nose to spite your face, and I never understood what it meant until I had a 17-year-old daughter, and I was like, oh God, this is.
No.
Yeah, it was like a mirror being held up. Anyhow, no, I would.
Anyhow.
I respect Viv's choice to say, nah, I'll take my $3,000. And what she does essentially is she says she's going to take her $3,000 that she made for the week.
That's a good. Yes.
Yes,
That's a
and she-
very important plot point. Is that she's gonna make a change.
Yep.
So she's not going back to
Skid Row.
tricking.
Yep. Turning
She's gonna-
tricks.
yeah.
And she's also like, she has a moment of like, with Kit where she's like, I believe in you. Like you can do anything that you want to.
Yeah.
And she gives Kit everything she needs to, like get herself out of her debt with Carlos and
Yeah.
whatever. And then she's going to go to San Francisco and she's going to go start her new life, essentially. Maybe this is the origin story of Selene in The Idea of You. She was Viv, and then she left to go to San Francisco and then start her art career. And now here she is.
Yeah,
With a
maybe.
pop star. You know what? Just let me live in my fan fiction. Let me live in our podcast fan fiction.
I think you're absolutely right.
Thank you. So anyhow, yes,
Yeah.
she goes off, and then Richard Gere comes in. She said she wanted the fairy tale and the white knight, and he comes in, and he's like flying his colors, and he's like, I'm going to rescue you, basically, and take her with to New York, because he realizes that love prevails, and she stuck to her scruples, and it got her the life that she really wanted.
Yes. She might have been born just plain white trash.
But Vivian was her name. Yeah.
God,
Fancy
that
was
is
her name.
such a great song.
Truly is a great song.
Truly.
And it's also, we would be in the back seat of my mother's Chevy Cavalier, me, Allie, Lacey, at, 7, 6, and 5, just pouring our heart and soul into singing Fancy.
Is that where you developed your golden pipes?
Yes. Actually, I peaked early, and so now I have vocal fry.
Ah, that's too bad.
Yeah. It's really you. If
You
only
can't
you
even
could have.
tell.
If
You
only
can't
you
even
could have
tell.
heard me in my heyday, in my
know it.
prime.
I know it.
10-year-old Ashley was just.
You know what?
Sultry.
That's a good segue into the next episode.
Yes, it is. But
If
before
only
that,
we had known each other at 10 years old.
if only we had. Tell me, what do you think the chances are for old Viv and
I think they're
and
good.
Eddie? You think? You always
think they're
do.
good.
You have love-colored glasses on for
I do.
everybody.
I do.
I don't think they're gonna make it.
You don't?
I don't. I don't. I think it is gonna take a lot of work.
So okay, so you're all judgy of me because I always have hope for these people, but you never do. Ever.
I have hope.
For who?
It stands.
No, I think the age. No, I think the class. No, I think the fact that he, died in the ocean. Like, big deal,
I want the best for these people. I want it to work. And also, I do feel like, what are the obstacles that they're going to have to overcome? And it's a lot of communication, and it's going to have to be a lot of, because Edward withdraws, and what's Viv's problem? What would you say her toxic relationship trait is?
Her toxic relationship trait. Ooh, that's a good one.
Maybe she's...
Her lack of confidence, self-worth.
Sure. Could lead to
than that, I'm not sure.
negativity down the line.
Yeah, that's definitely a toxic. So maybe that would turn into codependency, maybe?
Right. So that's the thing, is it's going to be a lot of work. It's not going to be necessarily, I don't think the trust is going to be a big deal for them, because he knew exactly who she was when they came together. And that's also not something that she was like, turning tricks is in my heart. And when he gave her the money, she was using it as an out to go develop the life that she wants. So I don't think anything like that is the problem. I think the problems that they're going to run into is he will continue to withdraw. Potentially, he has the potential to continue to withdraw, and the potential to disconnect from the relationships when they get really heavy. And she, I think, could potentially turn into, like you were saying, lack of self-confidence, and then just continuing to abuse herself in
right.
a
I have
relationship.
no chance.
It's just going to be a lot of work.
So what do you rate him?
I would say we didn't really get to see the relationship develop outside of the paid relationship, and just the way that it came about within this fantasy world that they were living in. So they were living in this fantasy, and I think things changed quite a bit when they go to New York, and now he's got one girlfriend moved out, new girlfriend moving in. I think it's going to be a kind of an adjustment. So I would say 6.
Yeah, I would say 5.
You would not.
I'm just going to undercut you.
You'd say 9.9.
No, I'd say 5. No chance.
It's a lot, because it's like they met on vacation. They met when he was working, and she,
That makes sense.
It's a short amount of time.
They met on vacation. They met when he was working.
He was working, she was working, but it was essentially they were living outside of their life.
Yeah.
And I think it's hard. She's moving out to New York with this man, and she hasn't seen him in the real world.
Yeah.
So it's tough.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Thanks for joining us here on the Love Story Podcast.
That was fun.
That was fun.
I'm glad you came.
Yeah, I was on the fence for a while.
Yeah.
Really wasn't sure if I was going to get
Yeah.
into this whole podcasting thing, but
Yeah.
thanks for talking me into it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
See you next time.
You know what?
What?
Do you want to do a shout out to a wedding show vendor?
Sure. We had Executive Express. Larry Logan was there.
Yes, thank
so,
you.
yeah, and he had a bus and everything. So to showcase, all of the transportation needs that you can have riding in comfort and style.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, bye.
Well, see you later.
All right, then.
And now a word from our sponsor, Chaz James from Premier Real Estate Services.
I've had way more happy than I have had sad. It's just the sad moments really do stick out.
Yeah, for sure.
We absolutely love this home. You've walked in and you started bringing furniture in mentally and painting walls, and you've called cousins that owe you favors and all of these things. And then you get outbidded by somebody that went 30 points higher than what the house was worth, and that's a heartbreaker. And this is very much a love story. The idea that there are some homes that you walk into and you can look at them and make a business decision. And then there are homes that you walk into and you just fall in love with.
Yeah.
And as long as I can get you to the altar with then we're good to go. Hello world, I'm Chaz James with Premier Real Estate, Minnesota's favorite West Indian realtor. I want to be your real estate hype man.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Love Story Podcast.
Be sure to leave us a rating and review and subscribe so you don't miss any new episodes.